Good evening, everybody. This is a bromance story. So, and to my wife's great credit, she said, "What are we doing tonight?" I go, I might wander by Story Slam and tell a story about Saf." And she goes, "Oh, for Christ's sake." Noel, like you had a crush on David Duchovny. A lot of guys have crushes on Joel Embiid. It's sad, or Carson Wentz. That's who we are. And if you grew up in the Philadelphia area, it produces two types of sports fans: the negative one and the positive one. I'm a negative guy. I'd be heckling at a funeral. You know, like, you call that a eulogy? Yeah, I'm tough that way. My buddy was the positive one. He's Saf. We grew up together. So whenever the team would lose, a Philadelphia team would lose, I'd call him up and shoo him out as if it was his fault, because he would go, "You know what? They're turning a corner. They're going to do it, Pat." And he'd be all positive no matter what happened. And then he got cancer, and I said, "Oh, Christ, finally Saf's going to get negative." And he didn't. And it drove the hell out, pissed me off. I'm going, he's still positive about everything. He's amazing. And I would go see him once a week, and you would think it'd be this, emotional thing like Tuesdays at Maury's, but we're guys. So it's a hell of a lot easier to tell somebody they're an idiot than to say, "I love you." So I'd go over there once a week and see him. And we would argue about everything in sports. And one of the guys we argued about was the Phillies had a player named Ben Revere. And Ben Revere was a good outfielder, but the guys know he didn't have much of a throwing arm from the outfield. So Saf, his family, contacted the Phillies, and the Phillies were incredible. They said, "Hey, come on in. You're a big Phillies fan. We'll let you get a free ticket to the game. You can go to batting practice, and you can meet your all-time favorite Phillies fan." And he called me up and goes, "Pat, would you like to go?" And I go, "I'd be honored, Steve. That's great. Who are we going to meet? Chase Utley? Ryan Howard?" And he said, "No, we're meeting Ben Revere." And I go, "This obscure outfield, I'd rather meet the fanatic than Ben Revere. This is pathetic." But he said, "Are you coming?" I go, "Oh, yeah, I'll accompany you to the game." So we go to the game. And they give us all these rules. You can't call out to the players. You can't do this. You have to stay behind the thing. And he ignored them all because he said, "What are they going to do? Kill me?" So like Larry Boa, a notoriously cranky guy, go, "Hey, Boa, come over here, you knucklehead." And Bo would look over and see this walking skeleton, and he would come over. "Ryan Howard, come over here. Ryan, I want you to hit a home run for me today." And Ryan Howard's nice as could be. Could 2 home runs be good? That'd be great. And then we met Ben Revere. He's the nicest human being I've ever met, partly because he's never been asked to be the greatest Philly. And the crazy thing was he had been traded to Toronto. We had to wait till Toronto came into town to meet him. So we meet Ben Revere. And this was Saf's chance to talk to him. And Saf's going, "Ben, I think," and Ben Revere says, "This is an honor. I will dedicate my year to you. I am going to play my season with you in mind. This is such an honor." And my friend Saf says, "Ben, it's an honor for me too. You hit 300, you steal bases, you're a great player. I think you're a great player, unlike my buddy here, who thinks you throw like a little girl." He had set me up. That's what a bromance is. He had set me up. I was going to mumble something about Monique Davis having a strong arm, but I just sat there, and I just, with a stunned look on my face, and Ben Revere couldn't be nicer. Goes, "Everybody's entitled to their opinion." He was a nice guy. Later, Steve has his last birthday party. Steve Safran, Saf I call him. And I go to the birthday party. He's in this incredible mood. And I go, again, he's positive. I go, "What are you so positive about?" He goes, "Guess what, Mr. Negative? Guess who I got a birthday card from? Ben frickin' Revere. What do you think of that?" And shows it in my face. I go, "Oh, my God." I couldn't say anything. He has a funeral. He passes away. This is just last year. The rabbi goes on a great length about his life. And then the major feature of the sermon was Ben frickin' Revere, because he said he got this birthday card from a baseball player. How amazing is that? And then the family members took on this theme about Ben Revere, and I kept sinking in my chair because there's a secret that I have to confess. And I went to Steve's widow, Deb, who I'm very close with, and is a wonderful lady. And I knocked on her door. It was at night, and she'd been crying because love hurts. And I said, "Deb, I got to tell you something. I wrote the Ben Revere birthday card." I feel horrible. It was a postmark from Westchester, Pennsylvania, not Toronto. I thought he'd pick up on it. I was terrified how she would react. Is this going to end our friendship? Is she just going to be appalled how our bromance has spilled over, ruining an entire ceremony? She looked at me, and she had been crying all night, and she burst into hysterical laughter. She said, Steve's favorite show, Saf's favorite show, was Curb Your Enthusiasm. This is like some warped episode of it. She said, thank you for making my night. Now, periodically, the Phillies, the Flyers, the Sixers, the Eagles, they'll lose. And I'll pick up the phone, and I have it on speed dial, and I hit that number. It's Saf's number. And I'll pick up the phone ready to yell at him to hear his positive spin. And I realize he can't answer. And there's two ways to react to that. I could get negative, boo God or whatever. Or I could think, what would Saf do? And Saf would be positive. Because once you think about somebody, they're still in your heart. And the thing about it is that Saf taught me a valuable lesson, which all you guys have learned tonight from your old exes who've stayed with you over the years. That even if they're living or dead, just because someone's dead doesn't mean they'll leave you the hell alone. Thank you.